Another day, another round, 2 more races to host in round 3 of the 2022 Hololive GT3 Japan Series at the track where the cars perform, Sepang International Circuit. Track length 5.5 kilometers, track width 16 to 20 meters, 15 corners, 5 to the left, 10 to the right. 19 laps of racing for each race here in Sepang. There will be 2 races in total for Split B as well as Split A. It will be a home race for 5 drivers. 4 of these drivers will be racing here in Split B. And the target lap time, 2 minutes, 2 seconds, 2.75 seconds. And as we're going to be taking a look into the championship context once again, Ariadne has a full wins worth of points ahead of Shaqif Reza, who is currently sitting second in 176 points. Alex Grant with 173. Almost Harto, debutant in the 2022 Hololive GT3 Japan Series in 4th. Sean Pauly 5th with 112. Abiyaza with a win and 8th place in Okayama. Pulls him from last to 6th with 105 points. Almost O'Hare's podium run means he's now at 11 at 103 points. Cal Gibbons is at 98. 2 more debutants in Matrice 1 de Porto in the number 3 Utsunomaki Watami Lexus in 66 points. Andrew Rahimbayev is the new debutant as well, representing Okami Mio. He has 40 points. Zara Leo with 34 points. Raji Kaczynski 33 points. Santini 32 points. Thomas Nukes, the last debutant here, he will be racing for Shishiro Botan and with 13 points. And Alex Bowen will look to find some improvements in this round in the Minato Aqua Nissan. So we would like to apologize for the stream problems that we have had prior to this current stream right now. There was a bit of a reliability issues with the current PC that we have right now. There was a CPU fan failure, but we managed to get the fan back up and running again. And as we're about to get into qualifying, joining me in the commentary booth is none other than Callum Gibbons, who is currently dibsing the number 18 Nakiri IMA Lexus. So, Gibbo, give us your thoughts about what happened in Split A as well as our current Split B.
Yes, good day everyone, good to be back again. As usual, Split A a couple of days ago did not disappoint with the Honda sweeping the round with Shazan Redza and Leo taking the wins in race 1 and 2 respectfully. And so for Split B we have more debutants, so I think it was 4 debutants compared to the 1 in Split A, so we're expecting a bit more of a reshuffle in the order coming for Split B.
Yes, one of the debutants here, Andrew Rahimbayev in the number 30 Okami Mio Honda. Is looking to try to make a mark. He's actually more of a Miofa, part of this Mio family, the fan base for Okami Mio's, fans and all that stuff. He is more of a Miofa than even Shazin Reza, so Shazin Reza is more than happy to relinquish his right for more entrance in Hololive GT3. Matrice 1 de Porto. Can't say much. I can't say enough about him. One of the most loyal Watamis that we have ever seen so far in Hololive GT3, and he is representing the colors of Tsunomaki Watami in the number 3 Lexus. And we could be taking a look at some of the drivers. Alex Grant, seasoned veteran as you want to call it. He's driving the number 90 Akiroto Tall Lexus. Gabriel Ariadne, current championship leader, 276 points in the bag, representing Tokino Sora. And speaking of Tokino Sora, we're going to be wishing her a happy birthday to her. Today is her birthday, May 15th, so do send her the best birthday wishes that she has. Sean Pauly in the number 5 Nekomata Okayu Nissan. Raji Kaczynski in his flagship number 74 Yusuke Choco Lexus. Abiyazat in the number 66 Yozora Mel Lexus. Thomas Nukes, one of the other debutants here in the number 43 Shishiro Botan Lexus. Now Thomas Nukes is also, just like De Porto, is quite a loyal SSRB, which is the name of her fan base, Shishiro Botan's fan base. And then there's Santini. We are just receiving confirmation about Santini's seat offers that we have at the moment. Santini will relinquish the number 63 Yukihana Lamy Honda as early as Boriram. The replacement driver for the number 63 Honda will be determined later on. And because Santini wants to take over the number 9 Minato Aqua Nissan, on which Alex Bowen happily agrees to basically let go of it. And here's the last debutant we want to cover. Wawan Suharto in the number 20 Sierra Noi Flare Nissan, no relation to Indonesia's second president. Alex Bowen is on her swan song round with the number 9 Nissan before before fully coming into the number 08 Shirogane Noel Lexus in split A. Gives Callum Gibbons at number 18, Nakiri Ayame Lexus. Shaqif Reza is on his outline with the number 64, Roboco Lexus. Mama Zohair in the number 11, Okami Mio Honda. Now, we're going to need to watch over one of the qualifying laps. Here is your car, Gibbo. Can you do us a commentary of your car doing a hot lap around Sepang?
It's coming to soon trying to commentate on our own car, but I'll give it a good shot. So, hard brake into the final corner, take the hairpin nice and tidy, get a good exit for this long front straight to open up the lap. Third gear, fourth gear, eventually enter in sixth gear, top speed with this more than a kilometre long straight, so it gives you a good chance to set up before the hard braking zone into turn 1. So we're expecting hard braking zone about just before the 100-metre board hand to turn 1. Should be a first gear corner. Exactly at first gear corner, keep it nice and tucked in, and right into the next hairpin of turn 2. Go up into second gear, still back into first gear again, and then giving them a long sweeping right of turn 3, which should be flat in these GT3 cars with the aerodynamic grip, and then head into another hard braking zone of turn 4. So braking again around the 100-metre board, 31.6 for the first sector, taking a lot of curb there. Eventually into another long left-hand sweeper of turn 5, which then rapidly turns into another right-hand sweeper for turn 6. So fourth gear corner there, keeping it nice and tidy, putting a lot of steering lock there, a bit squirrely on the exit, but still keeping it on black stuff. And now for the double right-handers of 7 and 8. Might be a little bit wider turn A, but it's still mostly tidy so far. 204.6 current benchmark. Hard braking again into turns 9, taking a bit of curb there, but still keeping it tidy as well, and now into turns 10 and 11, so a couple more medium speed right-handers, currently 1.5 seconds off the pace in the second sector, so we'll need to have a really good third sector at this rate. So now heading into turn 12, we got another left-hander, gear, and then suddenly another sweeper of 13 and 14, so got to get a good nice wide approach and good exit for again another long kilometre long back straight. So there's a good chance to chill here, like there's not really much you can do, just foot on the throttle, get into 6th gear and set yourself up for the final corner hairpin, which will probably be another first gear corner, so braking around just before the 100-metre board, right down into first gear, a bit of a late apex, decent exit, and we'll see what this time first lap is. Probably one of only 2 hot laps, there's not much time to get your laps in. A 2:07.4, 2.7 seconds, so not an ideal lap, so give another crack at it.
Speaking of drivers doing a crack at it, Alex Bowen though. Let's talk about Alex Bowen. He's currently improving by 1/10 of a second, actually 2/10. He's now only 5 thousandths behind Andrew Rakimbayev. The Kazakh is currently setting the provisional pole with a 204.699. We'll be taking a look to Alex Bowen's lap time for just a little bit longer here into turn 7 and 8. There could be some traffic here in Wawan Suharto. Wawan Suharto is currently setting 6. They could probably help each other in, let's say, in a slipstream type of deal into turn 9. And into the timing beam for the second sector, already 4/10ths behind. Alex Bowen's not going to be looking to gain much lap time there compared to Rakim Bayed. The Porter has improved his lap time to 07.6. Dentini is currently setting 11. His teammate, Thomas Nukes, he said that he wants to get his feet wet in qualifying. He's currently last in the basically running order at the moment. We're seeing some drivers improving. Ariadne has clocked in his lap time of 7 because he improved just a little bit there with a 207.089 into the final back straight here in the number 9 Minato Akonesa and Alex Bowen. Braking into turn 15. Oh no, Wawan Suharto is still blocking Alex Bowen's progression, but it will be the lap time of 2:05.801, 1 full second behind. She's not going to be very happy with what Suharto has done, but then again, Suharto has done a lap time of that's good enough for 6. Meanwhile, looking back into Callum Gibbons once again, wheels into pits.
obviously not really seen much improvement possibly in that second lap and just aborted in that. So fortunately only the one single hot lap for Gibbo in this qualifying session.
Only one lap for Gibbo, but still, so we're gonna try to make it count. Shaqif Reza is the fastest Lexus, 2 seconds behind. While Santini is also quite slow in the Honda there. Now, in terms of qualifying pace for the Lexus cars, there was qualifying pace for the Lexus cars in Split A, but looks like compared to Split A, the Split B Lexus cars they don't really have much of a qualifying pace, so you may want to take a look into that.
Yeah, in contrast in Split A, the Lexus swept qualifying with poles in both races, but failed to back out up in the race setup, so it might be reverse fortunes this time, so maybe a poor qualifying, but possibly a better race setup.
Yeah, better race setup, possibly for the Lexus, but we might need to take a look into this. Maybe, just maybe, I think we're gonna be taking a look into some kind of another Lexus trickery that we may be seeing. So we're gonna be probably taking a look into that, as we're gonna be taking a look into the starting grid. Andrew Rakhimbayev on his debut outing in Hololive GT3 sets the pole in the number 30 Okami Mio Honda. Not bad from him. Alex Bowen in her second last start in the number 9 Minato Aqua Nissan qualifies second. Omar Zohair in third in number 11 Sada Pecora Honda. Zohara Leo in the number 40 Murasaki Shion Honda. Sean Pauli in the number 5 Nekamata Kai Nissan in position 5. Always Harto in the number 20 Shiranui Flair Nissan. Tokino Sora's number 1 Nissan driven by Ariadne. Championship leader is currently in 7th. Shaqif Reza, Gen 0 teammate alongside Ariadne in 8th. In the number 64 Roboco Lexus, Alex Perez number 19 Akiro Tall Lexus in 9th. Raiji Kaczynski's number 74 Yuzuki Choco Lexus in 10th. Matei Juan de Porto qualifies 11 in his debut outing in the number 3 Tsunamaki Watame Lexus. Alan Gibbons is number 18 Nakira Yame Lexus in 12. Santi Ni in the number 63 Yukano Lami Honda. Abiaza to number 66 Yozora Mel Lexus. In 14th, Thomas News rounds up the final grid position in 15th. And as we're about to get the grid underway for the start, okay, the cars are lining up on the grid. We have Andrew Rakhimbayev on the left, Alex Bowen on the right. The run into turn 1 is going to be crucial. Who's going to edge out here first? And we are underway. It's a squirrely start there by Rakhimbayev, but manages to get a good launch. The Nissan of Alex Bowen does not launch very well. Muhammad Zohair is now on the inside line into turn 1. Who is going to edge ahead into each other? We're seeing 4 wide, just a little bit there at the back. Meanwhile, we're going to be shuffling there. There's 3 wide, there's rubbing between all of these drivers here. Rakhimbayev is leading. Alex Bowen is in 2nd. Muhammad Zohair is in 3rd and is in the inside line. Has now overtaken Alex Bowen for 2nd. Kazara Leo's holding on to 4th. Ariadne is now jumped up to 5th. Sean Pauli is in 6th. Shaqif Reza is in 7th. Harto has now dropped down to 8th, but it looks like with the better outside line, he will take 7th. Deporto moves up to 9th. Kaczynski in 10th.
Yeah, currently at this point looks like the Honda's setting the pace once again as they've been in Split A, trying to capitalise on their current success, but we'll see if Bowen and Nissan can spoil that party.
The party indeed, and we're going to be taking a look into some of the progression here. Rakhimbayev is still leading, Zohair is in 2nd. Bowen is trying to defend from Leo in an Akushio 3-4. Minato Aqua and Murasaki Shio make up positions 3 and 4. Ariadne and Pauli, winning contenders in Wakayama, are now challenging for 5th and 6th. So Harto is doing himself quite fine in 7th. Shaqif Reza is starting to lose just a little bit of touch there. Santini is picking up ground, having a poor start there, is now up to 13th.
Yeah, trying to make up for that poor spot indeed, and just amongst that group of Lexus, which once again seem to be kind of their own field with possibly poor race pace, but it seems that the field is spreading out quite early on.
And speaking of field, we're going to be taking a look into some of the drivers here. We may just be able to look into the Hondas and the Nissans making the one-stop work here in Sepang. Well, we have seen the Lexus cars trying to do a no-stop with their fuel trickery, and we'll be taking a look into the race fuel monitor. Looks like the Lexus cars are at it again with their fuel trickery there. They've been topping up more than it should. They're above the 60-liter fuel cap. But we're gonna be curious to see as to if the Lexus car can keep in touch with the Hondas and the Hondas and Nissans, because unlike Okayama with the very long back straight, we could be seeing the Hondas and Nissan being able to catch the Lexus car on the back straight and the mean straight.
Yeah, and possibly in the corners as well. If the Lexus is going for that nosedive, they're going to be on worn tyres, and with the technical nature of this circuit, tyre wear will likely be pretty high.
Well, looking at the Lexus class here, Callum Gibbons is now on the inside of a fellow demon, Shaqif's VTuber represented Raja Kaczynski, but Raja Kaczynski has the inside line into 5. Kaczynski manages to defend quite well into 6 as Santi Demon continues his charge from last place on the grid. Well, not really last place on the grid, but he's definitely climbing up to the front.
It may not be last, but it's definitely not the place he wants to be in right now. He wants to be away from this big pack and catch up to the rest of the Nissans and Hondas.
Leo is going to be trying to make a move down the inside of turn 9. That does not work out for Leo. Alex Bowen is still holding on to third. Great job there from the Australian after dismal 2 rounds in the number 9 Niigata Nissan. Alex Bowen is looking to try to find redemption in this car, and right now no damage so far. The car is clean, and right now Alex Bowen is holding up quite well in third. But we're going to be taking a look as well Muhammad Zohair and Andrew Rakhimbayev. Andrew Rakhimbayev, the Kazakhstan native. This is his first start in Holo GT3. He basically replaces the outgoing Muhammad Shazrin Reza, who is now focused entirely on the number 31 Himemori Luna Honda. Andrew Rakhimbayev is now leading this race, leading lap 3. How about that for a rookie?
Yeah, I wouldn't really say he's a rookie with this performance at the moment. Currently setting the fastest lap of a 2:05.1 and already edging out a gap of nearly 2 seconds to the rest of the field as we see the Lexus getting a bit of a squabble out here on the front straight. Santini's still trying to make his way back through the field using that straight line speed advantage, heading to the inside of turn 1 against Kaczynski. Hard brake in and possibly has a go to the border, but just not close enough that time, so just takes low curve, just try to solidify that position and go for another move.
Oh, there's a bit of contact there between Kaczynski and Gibbons. Gibbons trying to make a move around the inside of turn 2, but they're still side by side. There is damage on the number 18 Nakayama Lexus. It looks like Gibbons has the outside line. The outside line is where you want to be into turn 4. They're side by side. Kaczynski on the left, Gibbons on the right. Gibbons has the better run on the outside, which is going to be turning into the inside line into the fast S of 5 and 6. And speaking of Santini's closing into the Porto. Gibbons has solidified his move up to 11th.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of people take the outside line around turn 4. Seems that around they can get superior traction, get a good exit, and then when it turns to the inside line and make that move stick.
Speaking of the racing order, the first guys are going to bid Gabriel Ariadne from 12th on the grid. Sorry, not second, 12th on the grid. He was 7th. He's now having 12 liters. He's going to pit in the next 4 laps. He will be one of the first drivers to pit as he tries to make a move on the outside, but just doesn't work yet. Alex Grant has now made the move on Abiaza. Let's look at those 2 drivers that are side by side into 11. Azad on the inside, Grant on the outside, which is going to be inverse into 12. And who is going to edge ahead? It's going to be Alex Grant. Alex Grant on the outside. Azad takes a lot of curve into the inside of 13 and 14. Azad has the outside line, the better traction. They make contact, but Grant manages to have the better exit. Look at this. NTD is going to continue his charge up to the front. Overtakes the Porto for 9th.
Yeah, still using that Honda straight line speed advantage. The move is pretty much done even before we get to the heaven, and he just needs to get that brake into right, make it stick. And I think even with the Lexus and Slipstream, it's not really a match for that Honda power.
Yeah, the Honda power is actually kind of good at the moment here, but we'll be taking a look into some of the drivers who are going to pit first. Gabriel Ariadne and Sean Coley. Watch out for these drivers. They are going to be doing the undercut strategy.
expecting the Ferrari strategies to be at play here. So as you said, the undercut there, and the Lexus possibly going for a no stop. But the thing with the Lexus is that already like 5 seconds behind, and even further behind with the, I guess you could say, the primary field really of the Hondas and Nissan. So that no stop strategy is not going to be of much use if you have a slow race pace, and they can just make up that gap during the pit stop.
Well, this is a callback to Okayama Race 1 Split A. Now, if you remember that, the Lexus cars actually tried to use that fuel trickery, trick once again to basically have extra bits of fuel in their race. So basically, they all started with 73 liters of fuel. So we may need to take a look into where that extra fuel comes from. And we are just going to take a look into the gaps between the drivers. Rakim Bayev is actually pulling away just a little bit from Amazoher. It's nearly 2 seconds between the top two. Alex Bowen is not far behind in third in what would be her swan song round. Meanwhile, here's a good amount of Lexus battle here. We talked about the Honda Civil War and how a lot of the Hondas are battling each other. How about Lexus?
Like they're pretty much their own field at this point, their own class, so they're all just squabbling for the best position they can under their own manufacturer.
Yeah, their own manufacturer indeed. Look at Snooks on the inside of Grant. Doesn't have a good run. Oh, hops onto the curbs there, Alex Grant. Look at Azad on the outside. Azad on the outside tries to make a good exit there off of 14. Into the back stretch they go. It's if you want to talk about the gaps here, what do you reckon? It's only like what? 3 to 4 seconds separating 10th to 15th.
Yeah, it's just a bit of a squabble, all evenly matched and not really spread out from one another. So we're probably going to expect a bit of run-ins racing, probably a bit of civil war as we were saying before, whereas the primary field are a bit more spread out.
Right now it's going to be a slipstream battle here into turn 1 there. Kaczynski is trying to go to the drive inside of Gibbons. No move into turn 1 just yet. Meanwhile, speaking of manufacturer civil war, we're looking at Ariadne, Pauly, and Suharto in the battle for 5th there. Around a second or two separates those three Nissans there, as the top 4 basically pull away from each other as well as pulling off their own gaps. Shaqif Reza is holding up quite well there, even in the Lexus. Highest placed Lexus currently only around 15 to 18 seconds behind the race leader. But whatever the case is, that he's going to try to hold off the 63 car as the number 64 car.
Yeah, like best performing Lexus 18 seconds as you said at the moment, but I think from what we gather the pit stop delta was around 35-40 seconds, and so even now with the Lexus going down no stop, they're already creeping towards that pit stop delta, so that no stop strategy may be of no use to them.
That could be it, that could be right, but I think the no stop strategy may be king there, as we're going to be seeing the first guys to pit. Watch out for Gabriel Ariadne, and we'll be taking a look into the race field monitor. Gabriel Ariadne will be the first to pit, Sean Pauly will be next. So watch out for these remaining 8 drivers who are going to commit to a one-stop strategy.
Said one-stop strategy, not really looking at any 2 stops like we did at the first round in Fuji. People making those 2 stops, the race just weren't long enough to make use of that, so I think everyone realized you either do a 1 stop or a no stop in these races.
Meanwhile, Sean Pauly has made the pass on, not really, Ariadne has peeled into the pit. Santini is basically holding on into the 8th place, overtakes Shaqif Reza. Shaqif Reza now has literally 10 seconds ahead of everyone else. Actually, Shaqif Reza is thinking of fighting back, but the gap is opening up just a little bit. There is a battle here between the Lexus cars. Alex Grant versus Raja Kaczynski at the back. They're side by side, 2 wide, but it looks like Alex Grant has the draft, the slipstream. He's going to try to challenge Kaczynski into turn 1.
Yeah, heartbreaking to turn 1, sticking with that inside line, which turns into the outside for turn 2. So you really want to, if you want to make a room down the inside, you've got to really stick it in turn 1. But as you can see here, turns at the outside, gets good traction out there, so you're still taking that inside line and might be able to make a move stick.
It's a Lexus party from 8th on back to 14th there, as the Lexus cars are not going to be making any pit stops. No, I'm going to be thinking that there are actually some strategic plays here. This is actually a Lexus string. a Lexus train of 6 Lexus cars at the moment. And as of right now, we don't know if Deporto and the rest of the Lexus pack is going to catch up to Shaqif Reza, because Shaqif Reza is basically on a league of his own compared to all the other Lexus runners there. So we're going to be paying attention to that, and we're also going to be paying attention to Ariadne's progression through the pack. Will Ariadne be able to pass these Lexus cars before the checker flag drops? Possibly, given the Lexus and Nissan's power difference.
Yeah, it will be a tough fight, but I think Lexus will just be having the strategy of their own little barrier, the little fortress there with their trains. You know, they can all talk to each other, do what they want.
Yeah, it's a Lexus train, Lexus fortress. It's a Lexus party here. The Porto is holding on to 9, gives us his intent. Well, we're going to be taking a look into the driver, the leading pack. Rakim Bayev is leading Zuhair by 2 seconds. Alex Bowen is in third. Right now, you mentioned that the pit stop delta is between 30 to 35 seconds. If Rakim Bayev pits now, which we'll be seeing the next driver to pit, Sean Pauly, in the number 5 Nakamata Okai in the sand. Now, Rakim Bayev, assuming he pits right now, he's going to be exiting behind the Lexus pack. But right now, the leading pack of Rakim Bayev and Zuhair are doing a good job on trying to getting a good lead before they pit. And if we look at Rakim Bayev's field, Rakim Bayev is actually primed to do the overcut strategy actually. And we're about to see Pauly is still pitting, and Pauly will exit behind the Lexus cars. Here is the Lexus train. Sean Pauly, but the more important part is Sean Pauly's gap to Ariadne. Ariadne is currently into turn 15. Sean Pauly has exited, so Sean Pauly will have quite a gap between him and the Lexus runners. Sorry, and him and Ariadne. Ariadne is currently last. Let's see what he can do to salvage some few points.
Yeah, salvage a few points. We can probably expect that gap between Pauly and Ariadne to close up as they try and catch up the Lexus pack. Also, they're all going to be held up despite their superior pace. You know, it's one thing to catch another pack, but it's another thing to pass them.
Right now, there's Mama Zuhair and Santini. Mama Zuhair and Santini will be the next drivers to pit. Santini in what would be his last round with the number 63 Yukihana Lamy Honda before he relinquishes his ride to a driver that we will be confirming later on in the season in favor of Alex Bowen's current ride, the number 9 Minato Aqua Nissan, for her to focus solely on the number 08 Shirogane Noel Lexus in Split A to try to improve performances from there. He is on board with the number 9 car.
Heading into the final corner now, obviously just not that, currently about a 1 second gap to Zuhair in front, so maybe catching a little bit of slipstream, but obviously nowhere near close enough to make any sort of move.
Alonso Parto is currently in 5th there, not bad considering compared to the Rakim Bayev. He's probably at the back, like 4 positions back, but compared to some of the other debutants, Deporto and Snooks. Deporto and Snooks are holding on quite well. Deporto is leading the pack. Snooks is following them. But let's be real, we've talked about how Snooks approaches the following rounds, as Snooks doesn't have any realistic expectations for the championship. Snooks just wants to learn, just wants to get his feet wet on the Holo GT3 series so that he can basically have a better footing for 2023.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta look at a realistic picture. Sometimes you realize that the current season is possibly a bit of a write-off, or you might not achieve as much as you want, so the best you can do is just learn and use those opportunities for the next season.
Speaking of opportunities, Rakim Bayev is using the opportunity of his skills. He's currently built up a gap between him and Muhammad Zuhair. It's already 4 seconds, and actually Muhammad Zuhair is falling just a little bit. Alex Bowen is catching, as does Kizuhara Leo.
See, again, Rakim Bayev just performing exceedingly well for debut. Over 4 seconds the gap now, and just in a league of his own pretty much, despite, you know, the less experience.
Right now, Rakim Bayev and Muhammad Zuhair are trying to make their pit stop. They have been called by their engineers to make their pit stop, but we'll see if they actually commit to the pit stop on lap 18 of the race.
Yeah, possibly at this point with the gaps to the Lexus pack at the moment, may just be behind Shaqif Reza, but be in front of the main Lexus pack.
In front of the main Lexus pack, but we're going to need to be paying attention So several drivers making the pit stops. Andrew Rakhimbayev into turn 15. Let's see if Rakhimbayev will commit. The answer is yes. Rakhimbayev is committing into basically, and that's Muhammad Zohair, Alex Bowen, and Kizar Leo continue on in the race. Let's see if this is going to become detrimental for them, if they can make the overcut strategy work, or at the very least make use of the new tires to basically pick out the Lexus cars one by one.
Yeah, obviously with Leo and Bowen possibly battling each other, the overcut strategy may not work as they're going to hold each other up battling, so we'll have to see what happens during this pit stop cycle.
Qualify 971 for Suharto at the moment. Not bad for the Indonesian here. This is technically the closest of a home race Suharto will ever get in this year's season. Looking into, look at this. Zuhair, Rakhimbayev are exiting the pits as the Porto, Gibbons, and the rest of the Lexus pack catch up. Will Rakhimbayev be able to exit just ahead? The answer is yes. Into turn 1, Rakhimbayev manages to overtake every Lexus car, but Muhammad Zuhair exits behind the train. This is going to be a bit of a struggle for Muhammad Zuhair to try to catch up to Rakhimbayev at this point.
Yeah, very poor time on that pit stop. It should just possibly just taken a couple of extra laps, continue to build up that gap to the Lexus pack, but now it's just going to be stuck in traffic.
Stuck in traffic, but let's remember the context there. Zuhair has pressure tires and is fuel until the end. This would mean that Muhammad Zuhair is going to be having the prime position to overtake the Lexus cars. Now the Lexus cars, their tires are at the current pace we'll be seeing is between 2-minute 08s and 2-minute 10s. But the Porto is right now is on a 2-minute 09, I believe, on the last lap for the Porto. So the Porto is basically playing best of the rest, best of the Lexus cars. As actually the current Lexus train is pulling away, it's actually being pulled away compared to Shaqif Reza. Shaqif Reza is pulling away from them, but let's see how long will it take for Rakhimbayev to attack Shaqif Reza.
Yeah, I imagine not really long at all. As you said, 209s, 210s from the Lexuses, whereas the main pack are mainly doing 205s. So way off there as Leo and Bowen side by side for a bit behind the front straight. Leo taking a little bit of a look down the inside into this braking zone, but I think just not close enough unless he wants to go for a really big dive.
Oh, contact! Contact! And Leo has spun Alex Bowen! This is not what Alex Bowen wants. Alex Bowen now has severe damage to the car and is now out of the race. Kizuhara Leo just punted Alex Bowen out of the running. Oh, you gotta have to feel for Alex Bowen there. It was looking very good for Alex Bowen. This is her second to last race driving the Minato Aqua car. Alex Bowen just wanted to try to make it work, but oh my goodness. If poor performance doesn't catch up to Bowen, poor luck will catch up to her. And this rings absolutely true for Alex Bowen at the moment, being punted by Kizuhara Leo. Kizuhara Leo wanting to go broke for the win and actually made the move to punt Alex Bowen off. If this is the length Alex Bowen is going to go through, then this will be very interesting. I mean, we talked about how Kizuhara Leo, the Kaicho, has had a struggling first two rounds apart from split A. Basically, Leo has struggled in this ride, but right now Leo just wants to basically try to make a statement that he is no slouch. But is it really worth it if it comes at the expense of punting one of the other drivers? I don't think so.
Looks like Bowen is back on track to not go into the pits, continuing on the moment despite the current damage. But I think, not that I'm a steward at this race, but I think it's going to be a slam dunk penalty for Leo in that move.
Whatever the case is, if there is going to be a penalty, it will be provisional. Muhammad Zuhair is climbing up the field there. He has overtaken Azad and Snooks. Sean Pauly is also catching up to Snooks, Ariadne, and Santini as well. Meanwhile, Kizuhara Leo has not pitting this lap. The gap before this was 30 seconds between Rakhimbayev and Leo. Let's see what is Leo going to do in this pit strategy.
Yeah, possibly Leo, possibly slightly longer pit stop with that front end damage, possibly some compromised aero as well in the process, and of course Bowen will have that possibly much more damage in that case, so possibly even longer pit stop for it.
Right now, Leo is still in the pit, is still on a full stop. Rakimbayev has passed him, but we're going to be seeing Leo compared to Momosuke is already alongside Alex Grant. Kizuara Leo is exiting the pit. Kizuara Leo is about to exit just actually in between the Lexus train, and it's going to be quite a battle here. Actually, Leo loses out to Zuhair, and actually loses out to Grant and Kaczynski. Leo exits the pit lane, re-enters to rejoins the track in 10th, but not before rubbing into Azad for the last point paint positions. Kizuara Leo has the inside line into turn 3, makes it the outside, tries to tuck in behind the slipstream. Ariadne has just passed Santini for 14th. Kizuara Leo on the charge, and it looks like Leo's going to hold on to 11, but he doesn't need to fear too much. He has only 5 Lexus cars ahead of him. He can try to finish as high as 5th in this race with 8 laps to go.
Yeah, finish as high as he can, provisional of a possible penalty hanging over his head, and obviously we're going to make much better decisions when these moves going through this Lexus pack.
And looking at the confirmation there, Leo will have looking at the severity of the penalty, we'll be looking at either a 15-second or 30-second penalty. But of course, this will be provisional, as we can be seeing if Leo manages to score the points. And this will take a long while for basically the governing body to declare the points and the results official. But right now, Leo is back in the points. If that's the case, Azat will then score a point once the penalty drops, but of course it will be provisional.
Yes, everything provisional here at this point, as you mentioned before.
Meanwhile, Suharto, race leader, is currently peeling into the pits as Alex Bowen tries to hold on to the stint for as long as she can. And of course, Shaqif Reza is holding on to 3rd place there from as low as I think 6 or 7. 8th. Rakimbayev is catching 3 seconds actually, the difference. Momo Zohair has passed Callum Gibbons for 6 and is now catching Mateus Juan Deporto. Kizuara Leo has made the pass on Alex Grant. Let's see what Zohair can do to Deporto at this point.
Yeah, just having a look there, not close enough to go for a move, might go for a late break and dive, but no, just tucks in behind, things better with that. As Shirato comes out of the pit lane behind that pack, and behind Snooks. Sean Polly still trying to make his way through the Lexus pack, but just not close enough to make a move for the turn 1 and 2. Maybe he might go for it in turn 4 with that superiorness and power. But not at the moment, I think just slightly too fast. He's just going to have to bide his time at this point.
Oh yeah, speaking of the current pack right now, here is the provisional battle for the race lead there. Shaqif Reza is holding on to 2nd, but it will not be guaranteed. Shaqif Reza is still holding on to basically the runner-ups, but Rakimbayev is catching Shaqif Reza 1 by 1. Alex Bowen is still yet to pit, and once Alex Bowen pits, Alex Bowen will be in the middle of the Lexus train. And obviously the Lexus train is getting pretty feisty here, as basically it's like multi-class racing between GT3 and GT4. Momo Zohair has now made the pass for 4th.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly the intention to have multi-class racing, but that's just the nature of the Lexus at the moment with their high fuel and possibly poor race pace. So just trying to stretch out the stint as long as they can. Obviously not aiming not to pit at all, but obviously stretch out those tyres as well.
Stretching out those tyres as well. Meanwhile, we're looking at Shaqif Reza and Andrew Rakimbayev. Kizuara Leo has made the pass. Rakimbayev is catching Shaqif Reza. This is the move for the race lead. Down the inside. Previously, these two cars really tangle up into each other, but it looks like the 30 car edges ahead of the 64, but they are still side by side. This looks like Shaqif Reza is going to put up some kind of a fight there, as the difference between the pace is actually 2.5 seconds. Will Shaqif Reza make a late braking into turn 1? Oh, he will try to do something to challenge Rakimbayev down the inside. But at the end of the day, it's not enough for Shaqif Reza. Shaqif Reza has himself for 2nd. Momo Zohair has made that pass. Actually, no, Alex Bowen has confirmed this pit stop. Meanwhile, Leo is currently 6th. Sean Polly has caught up to the pack. Suharto has also caught up to the pack. Chantini and Gabriel Ariadne are still at the back, and that's not going to help their respective championship. That's not going to help their respective championship hopes. With Shaqif Reza in second place, he manages to back 75 points. This would mean that Shaqif Reza, wait for it, Shaqif Reza will try to edge very much closer to Ariadne, cutting open the 100 point gap to a 25 point gap. Looking at Shaqif Reza, he's doing quite well there. He's currently holding up to second. No chance to fight Rahim Bayev. Rahim Bayev is on basically cruise for a win. Zuhair is holding up quite well in third as well. He will be in prime position to climb up into the top 5, as how we actually want to mention something. The championship is actually very, very close in Split B. We have a lot of drivers being separated by just a whisker or two. And looks like Mohamed Zohair will be able to challenge for top 5. Leo has now caught up to Gibbons and Deporto. Deporto is now as high as 4th. Let's see how long the Lexus cars are going to hold on to their respective positions.
Yeah, as you were saying about the championship in Split B, we only have 20 points separating between 4th and 8th, and 8 points separating between 10th and 13th, so it's wide open for anyone if they can achieve a good result today.
Wide open there. Mohamed Zohair is going to be trying his best to catch up to Shaqif Reza. We'll be taking a look into the tires. And we'll be looking a look into the tires there. Zohair has 8 laps fresher tires compared to Shaqif. Leo has 10 laps fresher tires. And actually, look at Leo on the inside of fellow Gen 2 teammate Callum Gibbons on the inside. And yes, pass done. Leo up to 5th. After a good run in Split A, where he finally breaks his curse of not being able to actually finish the race, Leo is in prime position to try to make a move in the Split B in his flagship ride, no less. Suharto is going to be making a move into Alex Grant, 19 and 20. Down the inside, what about Suharto? Inside becomes the outside. Alex Grant has the traction off of 2 into turn 3. They're side by side. But Suharto has the inside line. Suharto has made the pass.
Yeah, moving pretty much sort of pretty early on, but that Lexus is not really giving up, taking a look down the inside, possibly a late dive, but not really having that traction.
Not having that traction indeed, as the intervals between Zuhair and Shaqif was 10 seconds. It's now 8 seconds between Zuhair and Shaqif Reza. Deporto and Leo, they are going to be trying to hold on for as much as they can. They're going to hold on to their pace as much as they can. Right now, Leo is catching up to Deporto. That's a really good traction there. We'll be seeing a dive bomb into turn 9 by Leo. Down the inside! Into turn 9. Deporto has the outside into turn 10. And into 11, looks like the fight will carry on until, I believe, the end of the lap. This is great racing.
Yeah, good racing indeed, and a bit cleaner attempt there, unlike the attempt on Bowen before, so possibly learning from his mistake there, trying not to pick up a second penalty while making his way through the Lexus tag.
And we're going to be getting confirmation that Leo will be having a 30-second time penalty, and this will be against him at the end of the race. So as of right now, Leo's currently 5th, but with the gas right now, he could be very well down to last, and this is not going to do anyone any favors, as we're probably going to do some recalibration in the championship points after this, as well as mid-round BOP change for the Lexus for them to be slightly more competitive. But I think I think the race is quite interesting here with the current fuel strategy. So the race directors and the sanctioning body have allowed the Lexus to run this, basically run this type of racing for one more race in Sepang before they'll try to switch it up again from Bowen. The investigations are still underway, but it looks like the Lexus cars, they didn't tamper with the fuel tank this time, but they did tamper with the fuel lines. Basically, if you remember the story of Smokey Unique in NASCAR, Smokey Unique deliberately ran a much much longer fuel line in his car so that he could sneak in a few extra liters in the tank for as much as I think 50 liters in his car so that he can try to extend his fuel stint until for a long time. Meanwhile, as we're about to say, this Kizarali has made the pass on Deporto for fourth, sorry. And Deporto is now looking at a possible podium or maybe a second place as he's catching up to Shaqif Reza. While the gap is now 5 seconds with only 4 laps to go.
Yeah, as you said, 4 laps to go. Leo in relatively clean air now, and possibly not enough time to really gap the Lexus. As you said, with that 30-second time penalty, you're looking like to be all out of the points.
All out of the points indeed, and we're about to confirm you once again. We're looking at the gaps between the leaders. Now, let's look at Alex Bowen, 37 points behind the leader, 37 seconds behind the leader. If we were to add 30 seconds, Kizuhara Leo will be 50 seconds. So basically out of the running entirely for points in race 1. But we will have to calibrate that after round 2 has finished, and we will be sharing you the results after the round has concluded. And so, like I said, the results are still provisional. But meanwhile, look at Sean Pauli. Sean Pauli has made the pass down the inside of Callum Gibbons. He is now up to 6, and right now his next target is Mateus Juan de Porto.
Yeah, possibly a good move there down the inside into the final corner, and Lexus not really picking a fight into turn 1, just doesn't really have that straight line speed to try and have another go at it, but getting a bit close there, might be able to look to say, hey, I'm still here, but not really match the grip of the Nissan at the moment.
Right now, Thomas Snooks has a 2-minute 07. Santini and Gabriel Ariadne and Alex Bowen have a 2-minute 08. Their tires have already been shredded at this point. And now, I actually want to talk about a bit of a tire degradation here. Actually, we talked about how Lexus wanted to improve their race pace. Well, we're actually seeing an improvement in race pace actually if we're talking about a no-stop strategy. This is what Lexus sorely needs after a no-showing in Split A, with Dan Powell being the only Lexus driver to score a point representing Natsui Ramatsuri. But yeah, as of right now, it's going very well for Lexus. 2, 5, 7, 9, and 10. 5 of the Lexus cars are currently in the points.
Yeah, this point haul this time, possibly if they can hold on to their position. As you're talking about tyre degradation, it's possible that in Split A they had the qualifying pace but not the race pace at all, so possibly in the long run they just didn't have quite the setup to take care of those tyres, but it looks like this time with this no stop they have taken more care of that.
Yeah, and speaking of the cars, we'll be confirming about the Lexus status for round 4 as well. And as for the Lexus cars, they're going to be trying. They've already cracked down on the fuel gap. They've already cracked down on the fuel tank itself. But remember, the fuel line. There's a long line of fuel inside the Lexus cars, which is why they're currently able to extend their basically fuel strategy and basically come into a no-stop strategy. Almost O'Hare 205, Shaqif Reza 207 with a personal best though. Also Harto has made the pass on Callum Gibbons for 7th, and right now Sean Pauli is going to be trying to make a move down the inside of Mateus Juan de Porto for basically 5th place into turn 1 down the inside. Sean Pauli a bit wide there, late braking. Meanwhile, actually, Gibbons is trying to fight back. He's going to try to fight back Wawan Suharto. Suharto's on the outside, Gibbons on the inside. Gibbons has a shorter run into turn 4. But right now, let's see what Gibbons can do to late brake into that turn. Speaking of sponsorship later on, which basically we only have 3 laps to go. And Suharto has made the pass stick. And speaking of sponsorship, you notice the Hololive production official shop sponsorship throughout the track. We're gonna. It's actually in relation to Hololive opening up their official shop in multiple countries, including Malaysia. And of course, it will be natural for the branding to be available in Malaysia as well. And of course, there's Hololive and Hololive production. No surprises there. But meanwhile, we'll be seeing another Lexus battle there between Raja Kaczynski down the inside of Callum Gibbons into turn 9. Turn 9 is going to be in Callum Gibbons' favor. Meanwhile, Zuama Zuhair is only 2 seconds around 2.5 seconds behind Shaqif Reza. Can Zuhair make it?
Yes, that gap rapidly closing as we enter the closing laps of the race. So we're possibly expecting a final lap dash for second place.
Paul is going to be trying his best to catch Leo, but with the current tire wear at the moment, I don't think there's going to be much to play for. Meanwhile, Suharto could manage to try to grab a 6 for his first race. Not bad from him. Nukes, although, is currently out of the points there in 12, so not much for Snooks to get a point here. But actually, this is the 2/3 of Bakatari, actually, the Bakatari unit. Funamaki Watame and Shirano Flare make up 2/3 of the Bakatari trio. Shirakami Fuki make up the other. And it's because Suharto making the jumping around the inside of Deporto into turn 1 with 2 laps to go. Suharto on the inside turns into the outside. They're still neck and neck. Actually, Deporto on the outside line, which is not going to be beneficial as actually they don't have much of a grip, but they're still side by side there. Suharto has to take the deep line into turn 3 and into turn 4 on the outside. Defensive driving from Deporto, really making Tsunamaki Watame proud there. And into the inside line of turn 5, Deporto lives to fight another day.
Spoiler just using the last scraps that he has of his tyres, obviously very worn at this point, but somehow we're able to put up a good defense.
Putting up a good defense indeed, putting up a good showing there for Tsunamaki Watame. As a very loyal Watame, Deporto is here to send a message to Tsunamaki Watame. Here, hey, I am one of your Watames. I want to make you proud. I want to show you that I am capable of bringing your car in the spotlight, and this is what Deporto is doing right now. As Andrew Rakimbayev is around the backstretch for the final, for the second last time to start his final flying lap. The gap between Zuhair and Shaqif Reza is now 1.5 seconds. We're going to be taking a look into this battle for just a bit longer there. Let's see if Muhammad Zuhair can catch the young Malaysian.
Yeah, Zuhair just tucked in there, as you can see on the gaps now. It's just slowly gaining at the moment. And using that superior straight line speed of the Honda, but in the corners and maybe get a bit more difficult once he catches up.
And speaking of the gaps there, Kizura Leo is 24 seconds behind the leader. With a 30-second time penalty, he will be essentially disqualified from the race, if not a last place finish, as Leo will be having a 10-second deficit to Alex Bowen, whom he actually punted with. So obviously it's karmic justice in the race control. Meanwhile, Azad and Snooze are battling side by side for the silver spoon. They're not fighting for points, but look at Ariadne and Bowen catching up the two Lexus cars, but Azad has the inside line. Snooze on the outside. Let's see what Snooze can do. Tries to make a dive on the inside, but just doesn't work. Deporto has actually managed to defend still from Suharto. Deporto is doing everything he can to defend from the Nissan, who has better power and better tires, and it looks like Deporto is better placed on the outside line into turn 4, which will be the inside line to turn 5, and that would mean Deporto will be able to defend it quite well, as we're going to be taking a look at some of the other drivers. Sean Pauly holds on to 5th. Leo will be down to 15 after this race. Zuhair in 3rd, Shaqif Reza in 2nd. But look at this, Muhammad Zuhair. Can he actually catch Shaqif Reza in time? Shaqif Reza, oh, down the inside, final lap. Clean here. Shaqif Reza has the inside line into 10 and 11. Rakimbayev is into 13 and 14 for the final time here in race 1. Shaqif Reza holding on to 2nd place. He wants that 2nd place so bad. He wants to claw the gap back to Ariadne, who's set to score no points. Azad is looking to score a point. Tom Pauly is in 5th. Deporto in 6th. Still managed to defend quite well from Suharto. Let's see what Suharto can do for a last lap dash. Meanwhile, we're going to be taking a look into Andrew Rakimbayev running off turn 15 for the final time. Andrew Rakimbayev is going to howl his way into the top 7 of the podium, representing Okami Mio. Andrew Rakimbayev wins in Sepang. Shaqif Reza has been overtaken by Muhammad Zuhair on the final lap. Let's see what Shaqif Reza can fight back. It's going to be side by side. It's going to be crucial across the line. Muhammad Zuhair grabs 2nd from Shaqif Reza. Kizuhara Leo will drop down to last place with the penalty. Choppel in 5th. And Deporto manages to pull off an upset with worn tires and no stops, trying to make the strategy work. Deporto is going to carry on to finish 6th in his debut race. As does Suharto in his debut race, he's going to finish 7th. Gibbons with another point to prove in 8th. Kaczynski in 9th. Alex Grant will also score a point, as does Abi Azad. Zeus is just a whisker away from the points. Not bad for all these 4 debutants.
Yeah, not bad for the debutants in Rakambev, having an absolute fairy tale debut, just cruising for the win, but an absolute scuffle throughout the rest of the field.
And Rakambev is excited. He just wants to get into the pits. He just want to get back into the pit lane as much as possible, as fast as possible. So yeah, great job from the number 30 Honda there. We're going to be transitioning over into the race results. And speaking of the race results, Andrew Rakhimbayev takes the win. Mohammad Zohair is in 2nd. Not bad from him. It's a Honda 1-2. Mohammad Shankar Reza is in 3rd. Kizara Leo with the 30-second penalty. He will be dropped down into last place. Sean Pauly finishes 4th. Matthias Yuan de Porto in 5th. Wallace Harto in 6th. Caleb Gibbons in 7th. Ryan Kaczynski 8th. Alex Grant 9th. Abi Azad scores a point again in 10th. Thomas Nukes only a whisk away from the points. 5/10 behind the points in 11th. Santini in 12th. Gabriel Ariadne in 13th. Alex Bowen will end up finishing 14th. As we'll be taking a look into the replay, we're going to be taking a look into Alex Bowen's car. We're going to be taking a look into some of the battles here. Here is the battle. Alex Bowen side by side with Leo on the inside. We're going to be going into one of his onboards. Here is the rear view onboard. Here's Leo on the inside. Diving deep. But it looks like Alex Bowen manages to hold on quite well. They're still neck and neck. We're going to be going back into the rear view camera. Here is Leo moving into Bowen. On the inside. Oh, that's just a cheeky punt. That's a cheeky punt from Leo. And we're gonna be rewinding just a little bit here as well. Here is on board of Kizara Leo down the out around turn turn 15 on the back straight. Tries to make a dive on the inside line. This is a move for the race for basically 3rd or 4th potentially, but it ended up quite ugly for both drivers. And as you can see, Alex Bowen has the better exit off of 15. Kizuhara Leo knows that he wants to try to grab as much of the points as possible. And on the and then onto the slipstream. The decision to dive bomb. Brakes way too late. Lost basically misjudged his braking zone. And there is the contact between the 2 drivers. So it's pretty messy for the 2 drivers there. So we are going to transition over into race 2. We won't be showing you guys the championship standings just yet because of obvious reasons. Kizuhara Leo's penalty has not been rescinded in has not been shown to be rescinded in the championship because he's still being recorded with a 4th place finish. But we will be moving over into the 2nd race immediately. So, Gibbo, tell us your thought about race 1.
Oh, yeah, it was pretty cruisy out for the lead. A good win there for the Honda driver, but everyone else just absolutely scuffling around. We had collisions, side-by-side action. It was just a lot in the midfield.
And it looks like we're having confirmation there that the race director has allowed the Lexus cars to continue their package at the moment. But, of course, the fuel line... trickery that the Lexus cars are using right now will be outlawed for the next race. And right now, as we're about to take a transition into the 2nd qualifying session, this will be race 2. Here's Andrew Rakhimbayev exiting the pit lane, and of course here are all the other drivers here. Now, in terms of the 3 remaining drivers, apart from Rakhimbayev, who has had a stellar performance in his debut race, who else is your favorites for race 1?
Ooh, I think at this point DePorto with that amazing defense against Nissan, just using the last scrap of tire life he had in that Lexus.
And it actually paid off for the Brazilian, as if we're going to be taking a look into the results, I believe DePorto actually finishes ahead of the Lexus train He finishes, I believe, between 4th and 5th, as the results are still being provisional. We will be sharing you the results on Adak-RMS Twitter. Be sure to follow Adak-RMS Twitter. And speaking of the stream, if you enjoyed the stream, may like the stream, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of Holo GT3, and if you want to be notified of basically Holo GT3 content. We're not going to miss a thing if you have the bell on. And I, the commentator, we're going to be taking your break just a little bit. Kibo, can you take over some of the commentating duties and try to commentate on Alex Grant's performance?
Sure, so Alex Grant on the out lap at the moment, so hoping to have a better result in race 2 in that Lexus, possibly just down on that qualifying performance at the moment. As mentioned already, the Lexus will still have their current fuel rig set up, so they seem to haven't tampered with the fuel rig tank, but seem to have been possibly tampering the fuel lines with their exceedingly large fuel lines and carrying a lot more fuel, allowing them to have that no stop. So race direction has allowed them to continue with that current specification, but will be looked into as along with their overall performance in the next round. Has been the theme with the Lexus on the weekend with their poor race pace. Like, they had a good qualifying result in Split A, sweeping qualifying both pole in race 1 and 2, but had nothing to show for it in the races. Like, even if I remember right, the pole sitter of Split A race 1 finished last, or second last in fact. So they had set up for qualifying, but not for the race. And we'll be definitely taking a look into that as we're into race 2 of Split B. And speaking of the Lexus, Alex Grant about to start his first qualifying lap, possibly one of only 2 or 3 hot laps you can get. Obviously a shorter session with a long track, so you have to make every lap count, so good exit out the final corner to start the hot lap. Keeping the throttle flat to the floor and set yourself up for turn 1, hard braking zone into the first hairpin. Looking tidy on the inputs there, nothing too concerned. There might be a little bit wide on the apex, but still pretty decent. Turn 2, still keeping it nice and tidy. Now into the long right hand sweep, should be flat out for these cars. And into the next braking zone of turn 4, and a good overtaking spot as we saw in the first race. So let's see how Grant can handle this. 31.8 for the first sector. Takes a good amount of curve, nice and tidy. Now heading towards the long left-hander. Should be a 4th gear corner, so medium to high speed corner, making use of that downforce of these GT3 cars again. Now into the right-hander. Still keeping it mostly nice and tidy, so overall a decent lap. We'll have to see how it compares to the rest of the field. Into the double right-handers of 7 and 8. Little bit wide on 8, so possibly lost a bit of time there, but still keeping it mostly tidy. That's the next hairpin of turn 9, another favourite overtaking spot for the drivers. Takes not really much curve there, so possibly not making use of that much. 1:16.8 for the second sector. No other times set yet, so we don't really have anything to compare it to, but still keeping it on the black stuff, which is the main thing. Now heading into turns 12 and 13, so long. You just be left-handed and then into the long right-hander. It's difficult to get your line right. You can take a wide approach, keep the momentum up, take a nice apex, late apex, and set yourself up for the back stroke. Now since Sunday set those times over Rakan Bev, setting the pace earlier with a 2:03.7, with Snooks 2.7 seconds behind. So possibly that Lexus may not have sorted out its qualifying woes based on that one time, but we'll have to wait and see. Alex Grant heading to the final corner. Decent exit. Again, aiming for that 2:03.7, but already way off. 2:06, 2:07, 3.6 seconds off, so not really an ideal first lap.
So not an ideal first lap there from Alex Graham. I was always about to cross the line. So basically, I'm back. Congratulations to me. I just had like an idle meeting, if they want to call it. So basically, there's this urban myth that idols don't really go to toilets, they just go to idle meetings. This may just be the case as of right now, Raja Kaczynski is currently trying to set a lap time of a 2:06.229. Not bad for Kaczynski in the number 74 Yuzuki Choco Lexus. Suharto only 3rd fastest. The Porto 10th fastest, 4th fastest among Lexus cars. Shaqif Reza 2:069. Santini 2:04.348 tries to make a move into the points, into the podium. for his move. Rakimbayev is still holding on to pole position. Meanwhile, Callum Gibbons is a better run out of everyone else so far. Let's see where he will end up. It will be a 2:06.094. Manages to actually out-qualify Ariadne. Not bad. Meanwhile, Alex Bowen, fourth on the grid, tries to bounce back in Alex Bowen's final start. Well, last foreseeable start in a number 9. Minato Aqua Nissan. Abiazat. 2:07.206. Thomas Snooks. Around turn 15 to finish off the lap. Gets into the pits. And Rakimbayev is going to get another shot into this qualifying lap. Certainly sits provisional pole. Let's see where Rakimbayev will end up. 2:03.657 manages to improve. Not bad there from the Honda driver.
Yeah, not bad indeed. A very dominating qualifying session so far. 6/10 to the next driver, Leo. Taking on his possibly second to last lap, 2:05 flat, so 1.4 seconds off the pace and not improving on his previous time. Ariadne, 2:05.904, so it does improve and now out-qualifies the Soul Lexus ahead of him.
Yeah, he has qualified the Soul Lexus ahead. Asgard does not improve. Let's see where Muhammad Zohair ends up. He is going to commit to this lap. 158, 159, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Does not improve. Currently qualifies 7th. Pompoli is still in 6th. Kaczynski is the second fastest Lexus currently at the moment. And where will Kaczynski end up? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Does not improve. Does not qualify Gibbons. Gibbons he takes the Lexus pole. Ford is currently last there as look at this NTD and Shaqif are side by side. None of them are improving. Oh, side by side across the line. None of them improves. Deporta does not get out of 15. Cal Gibbons, let's see what he can do. Have an improved lap time in a sunny evening as no, he pulls it into the pits. Alex Bowen. One last shot for maybe a front row start or maybe a pole position, but given Rakimbayev's pace at the moment, this could be very unlikely. Alex Bowen, front row start, congratulations!
Yeah, very good lap point right there ended there at the moment as we get into the conclusion of this qualifying session. Azad, 3, 4, 5. Again, the Lexus still not really having that pace. Does improve, but does not change position.
Does not change position indeed. We'll be seeing how Rakimbayev performs. Let's see where Rakimbayev will end up. And that is Rakimbayev's lap time done. Kizuhara Leo will be the second to last driver out there, but we're going to be taking a look into Gabriel Ariadne, as Gabriel Ariadne is currently the championship leader. What we know for sure is that Ariadne has lost 75 points to Shaqif, and so the championship is still wide open. And there is the conclusion of the qualifying session. Let's look at the starting grid for race 2 here in Fuji. Andrew Rakimbayev starts on pole in his next dominant run here in Sepang. Alex Bowen in her final start in a number 9 Minato Aqua Nissan will start second. Santini in the Yuki Anolami Honda will start third. Kizuhara Leo after a pretty messy race 1 is going to qualify 4th. Mamas Harto is qualifying 5th. Tom Polo is in 6th. Mama Zohair is in 7th. Gabriel Ariadne, championship leader, is in 8th compared to Shaqif Reza, who is currently in 12th. Cal Gibbons is in 9th, Garage is in 10th, Thomas Snooks 11th, Mama Shaqif Reza 12th, Abiazat 13th, Alex Grant 14th, and one of the best performing licenses in race 1 is going to qualify at the back here at the moment, as we're going to be transitioning over into the race. Let's see what all these drivers have to do, as we'll be seeing kind of a switch up in strategy for some of these drivers. Rakimbayev has tested a basic pit stop strategy earlier on, but now it looks like Rakimbayev is going to be testing out a new strategy, which is an undercut strategy. They've seen how the undercut strategy could work if the stars align, but right now Rakimbayev is on pole. Alex Bowen is currently alongside. 15 cars line up on the grid for race 2 of Split B here in Sepang. The run to turn 1 will be very important. Who will edge the start? Who will have the better traction? And we're green in Sepang. And it looks like Alex Bowen has bogged down the start once again. Santini has now moved up to second as Rakimbayev plows into the lead, entering turn 1. Alex Bowen holding on to third as Suharto and is holding on, has a good start, jumps up to 4th. Gibbons has a very good start. He's now up to 7 as a lot of RG between the drivers there. Ariadne has had a poor start and is going to be caught up with in the melee of many other drivers there. Rocky Bayev is still leading the race. Santini is in 2nd, Alex Bowen in 3rd, but Alex Bowen is going to try to challenge Santini for 2nd. Suharto 4th, Zuhair 5th, Leo 6th. Gibbons is in 7th on the inside. Oh, Bowen getting close to knee, but not close enough. Callum Gibbons on the inside has his action messed up into the outside of turn 6. Sorry, not turn 5. And he's being challenged by Sean Pauly there on the outside. But Gibbons has the inside line, takes a lot of the inside curve in the grass, but Pauly has made the move stick into 7th. Frantic for Slack.
Yeah, you're just getting a bit unsettled there on that curve, just not able to hold it around the outside and the inside, but very decent start there. Obviously Bowen wanted to use that front row, but just didn't really have that good getaway there. And at the moment it's another Honda 1-2, so Honda's aiming to possibly sweep the whole round.
Honda's looking to sweep the whole round as there's contact there. Further back, Abeaza has been hit at the back. Looks like a racing incident between one of the drivers there, we see. Oh yes, Shaqif Reza has made contact with Azad in a lap 1 tussle. Looks like the stewards are going to let go of it just fine because Azad is still there. There's not much of a disadvantage. Shaqif Reza has been given to Azad. Shaqif Reza has quite some damage there. Azad doesn't have much damage there, though he is currently at the back of the field. Ariadne having a poor start in basically now drops down to 10th. Snooks, we have basically Snooks and Gibbons ahead of him, but it looks like Ariadne has the slipstream. Now, let's see if Ariadne is on the inside. And Snooks is going to try to challenge Ariadne on the inside. And it looks like Ariadne on Tokino Sora's birthday is going to try to make the move around the racetrack. Ariadne is now up to 9th.
Yeah, they're just trying to make their way through this. Well, not really much of a pack this time. It was already quite ahead of near ahead of the Lexus pack as Polly goes really wide in the first turn there.
Yeah, going really wide the first turn there, Polly. But it looks like, looking at the gap right now, Rakim Bayev has pulled away from Santini. The gap is now 2 seconds. Alex Bowen is catching Santini. It's under a second between 2nd and 3rd. Suharto's not far behind in 4th. Zuhair in 5th. Leo 6th, Polly 7th, Gibbons 8th, Ariadne 9th, Snooks in 10th. Let's see what Gibbons can do. Oh, actually, there is a bit of a change in the strategy there. Because actually, Callum Gibbons, actually, no. Actually, I take back what I said. The Lexus cars are still committing to this no-stop strategy because the one-stop strategy actually worked. The zero-stop strategy actually worked out quite well for the Lexus cars, which Shaqif Reza managing to score 3rd, even though if it's decided by a cross the line moment. But looks like Mohamed Zuhair and Kizahara Leo in another Honda Civil War there. Kizahara Leo in 5th. Zuhair is trying to try to take that 5th place away from Leo. He's going to try to come back from that last place finish due to a penalty after a collision with Alex Bowen. Let's see what Mohamed Zuhair can do. But as we're going to be talking about how the Lexus's zero-stop strategy works here in Sepang, let's see what they can do with this last race in this rules package for the Lexus.
Yeah, Shaqif Reza was at the head of the Lexus pack in the last race, but looks like this time is going to be basically taking the lead for the Lexus and maybe trying to get up there like Shaqif Reza did towards the end of the race, but we'll just have to wait and see.
The time is currently 3:53 here in Sepang local time. And right now, as we're about to see, the race does take 40 minutes. And right now we are only 1/6 of the entire race duration there. Ariadne is continuing his charge into the front. Ariadne is now looking to pass Callum Gibbons. More position. Down the inside goes Ariadne. Really going to want to try to make the move here for the Tokino Sora Nissan on her birthday, no less. And do note that Tokino Sora's birthday stream is available to watch on her YouTube channel. Go to her YouTube channel, the Tokino Sora channel on YouTube, on 9 p.m. Japanese time. She will have her live stream. And she will also debut a new 3D model and a new 3D outfit. So if you are a fan of Hololive and you want to see Tokino Sora in action, tonight's a good time to watch Tokino Sora's live stream on 9 p.m. Japanese time, as we'll be taking a look at Rahim Bayev. Rahim Bayev is actually low on fuel. He's going to try to commit into undercut strategy. He has now pulled away from Santini, who is going to be the inverse with the overcut strategy. Santini is under pressure from Alex Bowen, who is lower on fuel than Santini. And speaking of drivers who are going to pit, and Rahim Bayev, the first to pit. Who else is going to be the next to pit? Looks like it's going to be Alex Bowen. Alex Bowen will be, sorry, no, Gabriel Ariadne will be the next to pit, as he's also fueled in fumes. He's fueled in the fumes right now, as you know, he's having steering pit and he's going to try to catch the rest of the pack.
Yeah, can't catch the rest of the pack, just making his way past all the Lexus now, trying to capitalize on that superior speed, break away from that pack and get back up to the primary group.
Get back out to the primary group indeed, as actually Gibbons is actually trying to keep Ariadne honest. Is there's actually Gibbons is only 5 tenths behind Ariadne, despite being in a slightly inferior car on track, but more inferior due to strategy. Let's see how Gibbons manages to catch up to the rest of the pack. Kaczynski and Snooks. Kaczynski's getting close to Snooks, but right now Snooks is holding on to 10th place provisionally. This could change after pit cycles. But right now, we've been looking at some of the drivers there. Alex Bowen is coming close to Santini, trying to make a move, goes wide. And Suharto is not far behind. It's a cracking battle for second place there. Santini is currently in second. Here's one of the cameras there. Santini is currently in second. Alex Bowen is currently third. Suharto is also in fourth. Kizuhara Leo is in fifth. And Momazoya and Sean Paul are going to be enjoying their own battles in 7th. Ariadne has now pulled away from Gibbons, which is pretty good there for Ariadne, because considering that he wants to try to maintain his lead in championship standings.
Yeah, again, a bit of a cruisy race currently up in front, but once again, like midfield providing an absolute show.
An absolute show indeed for some of these drivers here. Santini is now 6 seconds behind Andrew Rahimbayev. They are running opposite strategies, these two drivers. Alex Bowen is catching Santini on the inside. But right now, Andrew Rahimbayev with the fuel strategy at the moment. Andrew Rahimbayev is going to look to pit in the next 2 laps. And this would also mean that Rahimbayev is going to pit just behind the Lexus strain from Gibbons to Azad. So in retrospect, Rahimbayev is going to need to do a lot of passing on track.
Yeah, you would have thought that you might have adopted the strategy from last race and stretching out that stint and being able to come out ahead of the Lexus pack, but not really generating as much of a gap this time around.
Really generating that much of a gap. As of right now, Ariadne has pulled away from Callum Gibbons, and right now Alex Bowen is trying to catch up to Santini in Santini's last race in the number 63. Yukiana Lami Honda, what can he do for his one-song race representing the elf, the snow elf from Hololive? Speaking of the gaps, we're going to be looking at the intervals there. Will Alex Bowen make a dive down the inside? Yes, she does! Into the inside of turn 1! Alex Bowen on the inside turns into the outside. Santini is not going to let up the throttle there. Knee on the outside. Alex Bowen on the inside. We'll see if Bowen will have... They're still neck and neck. They're side by side into turn 4. Who is going to do some late braking there? It's going to be Alex Bowen, but compromises his line into 4. Santini has the better exit. Santini holds on to second.
Again, that outside line of turn 4 seems to be the superior line there. You get more traction out there, whereas people tend to compromise themselves going over the curb.
Yeah, goes up the curb there off of 4, but looks like he's still holding on quite well there. I want to talk about the gap between some of the drivers here. We're looking at the gaps between the leaders. Rahimbayev is set to exit just behind Azad and the Porto. Meanwhile, it's Gibbons and Snooks. Well, Snooks actually was a whisk away from the points, but if Snooks can hold on to this delta, this gap right now, and with 5 more Lexus cars behind him, he could be in for a good result.
Yeah, decent result in standpoint. The Lexus field obviously not made the result they really wanted, like more performance out the car, but with the circumstances at the moment, any points finish will be good.
Any points finish will be good, as this is basically an R&D season for Snooks, for Thomas Snooks to learn, to gain experience with And as of right now, here's Santini. And look at this, Suharto and Leo are side by side, exiting turn 14. Who is going to edge ahead of each other into the final turn? As you can see, the Hololive Error sponsorship. Hololive's horror series on the Hololive YouTube channel. And look at this, Leo's on the inside. As Rakim Bayev pits. Look at Leo is making the pass into Suharto as we're about to start lap 6, but who is going to edge ahead? Suharto has the better run, has the better engine, the better horsepower off of 15 into turn 1. Will Suharto defend the inside line? Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Onto the inside. Leo's on the outside. Suharto's on the inside, which is going to be the inverse for turn 2. And right now, Leo is now up into the podium positions. A great comeback after the incident with Bowen and with the penalty as well, as Rakim Bayev has confirmed to be exiting behind the Lexus train.
Yes, behind the entire train, so he's going to have a lot of work cut out for him to try and get ahead of this pack and possibly take a second race win and the sweep of the round.
Speaking of the sweep, Santini is looking to be the famous to take the sweep for Honda. So basically solidifying 4 Honda wins in a row in Sepang. So, right now, we often talk about how it's Nissan and Lexus who are the favorites heading into this round. But look at this reversal of fortunes there. The Nissans are still there, but Alex Bowen is thirsty for a win. Let's see if Alex Bowen can catch up to Santi.
And not close enough to go for a move here. It's just Sandy just keeping station very well. And not really giving much of an opportunity for Bowen to make a move right now.
Not much of an opportunity there for Bowen, but let's see what Bowen can do in 12, 13, and 14 to catch at the knee in the back stretch. 12, 6 tenths, 13th, 6 tenths, into 14, and it's still going to be 6 tenths. This exit's going to be crucial for Alex Bowen if she wants to basically pull the gap, basically close the gap to Santi, and the gap is closing indeed. It's now 5 tenths. Going to be 4 tenths there. Alex Bowen is going to be looking into trying to have a good exit into 15 as well, as the gap is now still 4 tenths. Alex Bowen is in prime position for the pass for the slipstream. Santi's going to try to break the slipstream just a little bit. Bowen is a little slimmer faster. Let's see, Bowen down the inside, potentially for the race lead. Oh, it's going to be tied. Alex Bowen on the outside, Santini on the inside into turn 2. Santi is actually in a better position than Bowen. They're still side by side. Let's see what Bowen can do. Oh, straddling over the curbs there. Santini tries to squeeze Alex Bowen. This is insane racing for the lead.
As they're battling for the lead at the moment, we do have Leo catching up behind, so we may possibly get a repeat of the situation in race 1, but with Knee added to it as well.
It's good. Right now it's a 2-horse race for the race win, and it's going to be a 3-horse race if these two keep battling. And speaking of strategy, Alex Bowen will be pitting first compared to Santini, who is going to be one of those who will be committing to an overcut strategy. But rather right now, the strategy is working out just fine for them.
Yeah, working out just fine. Rakim at the moment still 7.5 seconds behind the Lexus pack, so still in relatively clear air for now at least. So this right here, if you could just put in those lap times while me and Bowen currently hold each other up.
And as of right now, only 1.5 seconds separate the top 3, with Suharto not far behind, only 2.5 seconds behind, with another pack of cars behind him. We'll be seeing 2 separate battles there. One is the battle for the lead, and the other is the battle for basically 4th there. A 3-way fight for the race lead and a 4-way fight for 7th. This is going to be some great racing here as we close out the Sepang weekend. Has been topsy-turvy for everyone involved. There was the stream VOD problem, there's the race digest, there was the CPU issue at the moment, but as of right now, the issues have been rectified there. Alex Bowen is now much closer than ever to Santini, as it's now 4 tenths behind. And actually, looking back into the timing beam, it's still 4 tenths. Alex Bowen is trying to catch Santini. Let's see what Alex Bowen could do. They're gaining just a little bit one by one, but Alex Bowen is not close enough. Again, the 3rd lap in a row. Oh, was that 4 laps in a row? Alex Bowen is going to try to challenge and contest the race win, the race lead from Santini. Santini has the outside but right now Santini just couldn't squeeze Alex Bowen as much as Alex Bowen straddles the curb just a little bit. This is good defensive driving for Santi.
Yeah, good race car from Knee, like that late dive into turn 1, just left a space, saw it coming, just left a space, got the superior traction, and able to still hold on to that position.
Speaking of Rakim is now 4 seconds behind of Azad and and basically behind the Lexus pack there. As we're going to be taking a look back into the race field monitor, Gabriel Ariadne is going to be the next driver to pit. He's going to be pitting in the dead center of the race. He will be pitting just behind Lexus cars, and actually Callum Gibbons is holding up quite well there. He's actually in the league of his own. 7 seconds behind 7 seconds ahead of Thomas Snooks and the rest of the Lexus pack. It's actually a recurring theme for the Lexus cars in Split B. Shaqif Reza is the best Lexus and basically is in his own league with all the Lexus cars. This time it's Callum Gibbons. How amazing this is.
Yeah, possibly going to be fighting for the win at this point. Also, once everyone else does their pit stop, has kept the gap low enough that he's going to be leading once everyone else does their pit stop and have to make their way through this Lexus pack. So if you could just hold on now, you might potentially be going for a win here.
Meanwhile, Alex Bowen and Santini are continuing their battle here for the race lead there. Alex Bowen is basically lighter on fuel compared to Santini, who's going to commit to an overcut strategy. Kizara Leo has built up the gap to Wawan Suharto. Alex Bowen 5/10, 4/10. Close enough as we're going to go on board with the number 9 Minato Aqua Descent, fighting the number 63 Yukano Lami Honda up front. It's 4/10 separating the two drivers, and the gap is building up. Actually, no, it's not building up. They're setting nearly identical lap times, 3,000 separate between them. Will Alex Bowen make the move? Not close enough. Oh, again! Again, but this time it's just a nudge and a bump. It's not like what happened in the last race, where Alex Bowen basically, Kizara Leo basically punts Alex Bowen out of the way. This one is just a nudge, and this nudge puts her into the lead of the race in the last race for Minato Aqua before Bowen hands the keys to Santini. Actually, this is actually very poetic here. This is a poetry in motion here at the moment, as we're going to talk about contracts and the battles here. Alex Bowen is trying her absolute best to win a race at least after struggling first 4 races of the season, after the struggle of the first 2 rounds of the season, as Azad makes the pass on the Porto. Meanwhile,
so I was going to say, it's all interrupted, right? Right behind the end of the pack now, so he's starting to make his way for the Lexus. Having a look there as the two Lexus to Porto and Azad barge with each other. Rakan Bev keeping tabs behind.
Yeah, as of right now, there's not much of a change between them. We're talking about Alex Bowen. This is her final race with the number 9 Minato Aqua Descent, and Santini is due to take over from Boreram onwards. This is going to be a lot of emotions there for multiple drivers here. So Alex Bowen trying to do whatever she can to deliver a swan song performance especially after a dreadful start of the season. Meanwhile, Rakim Bayev will make the move down the inside of Azad into turn 9. Yes, he can. Oh, gets checked up by Deporto. Deporto breaks early. Rakim Bayev still has the outside line. That will put Azad in a good position there to actually defend well into turn 11. They're still side by side, and looks like Rakim Bayev has the inside line into 12. And move done. Good job from Rakim Bayev.
Yeah, good job, move done, but not exactly helpful if he wants to try and take a second race win, just getting held up by this pack here. To give her pretty far ahead at the moment, so if he really wants to go for his win, he's got to get a move on.
Looking at Ariadne, Ariadne will be the next ones to pit. Let's see where Ariadne will end up compared to the rest of the pack. Right now, Rakim Bayev is making a move into the Porto, down the inside, into turn 15, move stick. And yes, it's a move stick. It's a stuck move by Andrew Rakim Bayev. Ariadne pits, and Rakim Bayev is still climbing up the order. Rakim Bayev is now up to 12.
This area there is safe to pit stop right now. Possibly missing the next 3 laps, and the other Lexus making their pit stops, and a bit of a shuffling of the pack here. Most of the Lexus making their way up to the top of the field.
And as of right now, Wawan Suharto is keeping tabs with Kizuhara Leo for 3rd place here. Alex Santini with some kind of damage there on the rear. Looks like the stewards are going to let it slide, let it slide, as this is basically, this does not involve spinning out another driver or basically causing a huge disadvantage for the drivers. So it looks like there won't be any penalty there for Alex Bowen, especially given Alex Bowen's rough start to the season. But yeah, if Alex Bowen manages to secure this win, how popular this is for Alex Bowen, being the second Nissan to score a win in the Hololive GT3 up to this point, and a way for Alex Bowen to atone for the dreadful start to the season with the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, and also stopping Honda from making that clean sweep the entire round, so possibly sweeping both Split A and Split B.
Meanwhile, we'll be taking a look into Kizara Leo. Thomas Harto is keeping tabs on Kizara Leo, as does Sean Pauli with Mama Zohair. Callum Gibbons has a 10-second gap to Thomas Snooks. Callum Gibbons, actually don't count Callum Gibbons out just yet. If Callum Gibbons can actually, maybe Alex Bowen, maybe it's Callum Gibbons, the two, actually Alex Bowen is peeling into the pits. Yeah, Alex Bowen peels into the pits. It will be 8 laps to go for the other driver, Alex Bowen, trying to challenge for the race lead. Let's see where Alex Bowen will end up relative to Callum Gibbons. Callum Gibbons is edging ahead out of everyone else. Callum Gibbons is leading the Lexus pack, and as does Sean Pauli as well. Let's see what Alex Bowen can do compared to all the other drivers. Here is Thomas Snooks into the final turn into the main straight. Alex Bowen is just gone out, and crucially, Rakim Bayev is exiting ahead of Alex Bowen. Alex Bowen may not be able to challenge for the win, as Rakim Bayev is passing Shaqif Reza for 8th place at the moment.
Yeah, possibly that battle with me just compromising her and being able to get ahead of Rakim Bayev after the pit stops, and now stuck behind his battle pack of Azad and Deporto.
Speaking of Ariadne, Ariadne has already pitted this lap, and right now is currently last on the grid right now. Not a good way to basically challenge for a championship there. Ariadne has had a very stellar start to the season with a win in 1 win on those 2 rounds. 2 wins to start off the season. And basically, right now with last place, and with Shaqif Reza being able to steal more points compared to all the other drivers, it looks like Shaqif Reza could just well be able to hold on, basically just be able to retake the championship lead away from Ariadne.
Yeah, as we were saying before, any points good points at this point, especially with the performance of the car at the moment, so we'll do anything he can to keep those positions.
Well, here's another battle between the Gen 3 cars. Shiranui Flair, number 20 Nissan, driven by Thomas Harton, with the number 11 Sadapacore Honda, driven by Mama Zohair. Closely, it's quite close. Deporto is actually defending quite well. He's actually defending Alex Bowen quite well there, Deporto. Continuing on the performance from Split A, from race 1, Deporto has a very good defense there. I wanted to know what the Brazilians call their Ministry of Defense, because that is what Deporto is right now.
Yeah, indeed, like just putting the car in the right place at the right time. May not have the overall race pace, but have that offense, but definitely good defense.
As of right now, Callum Gibbons though, oh look at this, Alexa's car is currently in 3rd, and with Santini and Kizara Leo quite not far behind, and we could be seeing a Lexus 1, 2, 3 actually. We could be seeing a Lexus party disruption. Can you believe it?
Yeah, but we're going to be pretty close behind on those fresher tyres, so I may not expect that podium lockout to last, but as it seems to be a challenge at the moment to get through them.
Meanwhile, Alex Bowen has dispatched Deporto and is now back in the points. Abe Azad will be her next target. Alex Grant holding on to 8 quite well, as Shaqif Reza in 7th. And at this point, Shaqif Reza is deadlocked to steal the is almost deadlocked to steal a championship lead. Shaqif Reza is going to need 5th at least, given that Ariadne doesn't score, for him to retake the championship lead away from Ariadne's hands.
Yeah, with Nia and Leo set to pit, that could possibly catch Shaqif Reza and may end up into this pit cycle in 5th place, but obviously we'll have to put in the elbows out to hold on to that.
Kaczynski is trying to hold on to what would be 3rd place compared to Andrew Rakhimbayev. Rakhimbayev is pulling out all the stops during that second stint, trying to make up that lost ground with the beginning of the second stint, but right now Rakhimbayev is trying to lose touch with the tires. Let's see what Rakhimbayev can do. Meanwhile, Alex Bowen has dispatched Abe Azad for 9th place. Will Alex Bowen be able to catch Shaqif Reza and Alex Grant? We'll wait and see.
also those fresher tyres, and despite a little bit of damage to the front end of her car, still able to dispatch those Lexuses. I imagine it won't be too difficult to catch up and dispatch Grant and Shaqif.
Right now we have around just over 6 laps to go. Santini and Kizaralio, the last of the non-Lexus cars to make the pits. Callum Gibbons is currently holding on to the race lead. If Callum Gibbons can hold on to the race lead for the next 6 laps, Callum Gibbons will bring home. Actually, it will be the first for Holo GT3. As meanwhile, Rakimbayev on the inside of Kaczynski. Rakimbayev is going to want to try that slice of the pie. Rakimbayev on the outside. And then right to Kaczynski on the inside. Will Kaczynski fight back? It looks like with Rakimbayev boxed in, Kaczynski's going to need to try to challenge Rakimbayev down the inside. Turn 1. Into turn 2. Rakimbayev has made the pass stick. Rakimbayev is now up to 3rd. Meanwhile, Abe Azad has actually exit ahead of Santini. Deporto exits ahead of Leo. Meanwhile, Deporto is going to try to fight back with those warmer tires there. With Deporto on the outside, Santini on the inside. Will Deporto be able to stay in touch? Not quite. Actually, yes, quite. Well, maybe actually. Will Deporto make the move down the inside of turn 4? Yes! No contact. A bit of a scuff exit there for Deporto, but as of right now, Deporto hangs on to 10th.
Yeah, as is that for him not really getting that good exit off the inside line at turn 4. The outside line is keen over there, but still sticking it in the points at the moment.
Rakimbayev has made the pass on Snooks, exiting turn 9. Exiting turn 8 into turn 9. Will Snooks be able to defend? Yes, looks like Snooks is going to try to defend, but it won't be enough. Now, the one thing that separates Rakimbayev from a Honda sweep, from a round sweep, is Callum Gibbons. Will Rakimbayev be able to catch him in time with 6 laps to go?
Yeah, falls in 0.3 seconds, would effectively need over 2 seconds a lap to catch up, and that's just to catch up. He obviously got to pass as well, so not much time in hands.
Right now, Kaczynski is currently holding on to 4th. It will be his best ever best ever race finish, as does Thomas Snooks. Now, Thomas Snooks said he wants to do some R&D. Well, this R&D is kind of paying off there, as Snooks is basically the second best Lexus and the best Lexus in the pack right now. Let's see if Kaczynski is going to try to challenge this. Now, if you want to harken back to last round, the 43 car and the 74 car actually battled it out on race 1 and actually managed to fend off the number 30 Honda. And now we're kind of seeing the similar same song and dance, as Alex Bowen is currently in 6th. Alex Bowen is going to try to catch Shaqif Reza. Let's see what Shaqif Reza can do to hold on. Abeyaza is going to try to defend off Santini. Kizaralio has made the pass on Deporto. Santini on the inside of Azad down into turn 1. Santini will have the better tires, the better traction there. On the inside. And right now, Santini holds on to the position quite well. Abeyaza is not going to fight back. Santini has taken 8th place. While Alex Bowen is catching up to Shaqif Reza. Let's see what Shaqif Reza can do to hold on to 5th. 5th or better is what Shaqif needs for him to take that championship lead away from Ariadne.
Yeah, it's at 5th place, and overall that Lexus have kind of quite split up with the pitted distance and the Hondas making their way through the field. Shaqif Reza 7 tenths the gap to Bowen, so on those fresher tyres, Bowen's set to possibly take that position.
Possibly take that position indeed right now. Shaqif Reza holds on to it quite well. Here's on board of Alex Bowen's number 9 in that top one descent. Running off the Hololive billboards here. And as of right now, Snooks and Kaczynski are 3-4 side by side. Let's see what they can do for their race at the moment. Rakimbayev is now 12 seconds behind Gibbons. 5 laps to go. I don't think they'll be able to catch up. It was hard to make the pass on Deporto. Kizaralio is the one driver separating him and the points.
Yeah, as I said, any points, it's good points you can get, and at the moment Deporto not really quite up at the moment, possibly not really in the shout to combat Leo and Trato, so he'll just have to concede with where he is and possibly defend from Suhe.
And as of right now, into the inside line, the better traction there. Alex Bowen is going to try to make this race worth it. The last race in the Minato Aqua Nissan before transferring over to Santi. Focus on the Shirogai Noel ride. Alex Bowen now moves up to 5th. And now sets his eyes to Kaczynski and Snooks. Meanwhile, Kizaralio has made the pass on outside for 9th.
So just looking at the lap times of the top two, Evo 206, Roboco 204, so 2 seconds faster per lap, but with the current amount of laps left, that would not be enough to catch up.
And speaking of battles here, Azad is holding off. Azad's being passed by Leo. Suharto is there. Zuhair has made the pass on the Porto Poli's down to 14th. Oh, and Poli actually tags and spins the Porto around. It was not necessary, but Deporto has taken the worst out of it, and this damage around for Deporto, and it will be the end of the race. Sean Poli will be the next driver to probably be penalized for his actions. So looking at the confirmation there, Sean Poli will be receiving a 15-second time penalty for collision with Deporto, and that will mean Deporto will finish 14th at least.
Yeah, at least in the end of that collision, but obviously the stewards have more angles than we do, and obviously an easy decision for them.
It's an easy decision for the stewards there. Kaczynski is closer to Snooks, but let's see if Kaczynski will make the dive bomb into turn 9. Not close enough. Meanwhile, Santini has made the pass. Looking to make the pass on Alex Grant, number 19, Aki Rosenthal Lexus. Santini is going to try to make a move around the outside. The outside line is going to turn into the inside. On board with the number 63 Honda. Santini going to the outside, then inside. Pass done. Santini is now in 7th place. Well, let's see if Kizaralia can make the pass next time by.
So as that was happening, Deporto has gone back to the pits. It looks like a DNF for him. Amazing defensive performance, and unfortunately that collision just too much.
Too much indeed. There was a lot. There looks like some rear right. Looks like some rear right suspension damage. Rear right suspension damage. Meanwhile, Alex Bowen is looking to make the pass on Rajiv Kaczynski. Well, Alex Bowen is now up to 4th. If Alex Bowen can finish on the podium, takes the podium away from Thomas Snooks, it will still be a feel-good story there for Alex Bowen in, let's say, in what we've talked about many times, her final start in a number 9 Minato Aqua Nissan. Down the inside. Pass done. Pass done indeed. And Alex Bowen will now have Andrew Rakimbayev and Callum Gibbons between her and a potential win. And we'll be taking a look into the tires here actually. Gibbons has been holding onto his tires since the start. Rakimbayev has 5 laps older tires than 5 laps younger tires than Gibbons. But Alex Bowen has 5 laps younger tires than Rakimbayev. So we're going to be taking a look into the gaps between Rakimbayev, Bowen, and Gibbons. As we're going to be taking a look into the gaps here. 33 seconds from 14th to 1st. How competitive is this field?
Yeah, definitely a bit closer this time around, despite the no-stop strategy from the Lexus. Bowen, definitely a podium performance would be great for her in the send-off, especially considering the poor performance and the bad luck towards the earlier this season. Again, may not be the win, but still definitely a solid result.
Solid result for Alex Bowen indeed. And right now, the gap between Rakimbayev and Bowen is only 5 seconds between 2nd and 3rd. Rakimbayev has clawed back the gap between Gibbons and Rakimbayev. And Mohamed makes the pass on Azad. Azad's falling down like a rock here in terms of pace. And right now, Azad has been passed by 2 drivers at once. And let's see if it will be. Let's see if Paulie can make a move. As we're going to be taking a look into some of the battles here. Alex Grant is under the way of Suharto and Zuhair's points finish for basically representing Generation 3 of Hololive. Meanwhile, Santini is catching up to Shaqif Reza, who's currently in 6th. Right now, it's out of the question for Shaqif Reza to take back the championship lead from Ariadne, who is still last in the standings. So, obviously, yeah. Meanwhile, on the inside, with Suharto on the inside of Alex Grant. Alex Grant is now down to 10th. But let's see. Oh, we're seeing a lot of battles around Santini and Kizara Leo. Honda versus Honda. Santini has made the pass on Leo. Leo's going to try to make the switch back down the inside. Let's see what Leo can do into turn 1. Into the braking zone for these 2 drivers. Actually, Zuhair's going to try to pass Alex Grant as well. And as of right now, the gap has closed just a bit between Rakimbayev, Bowen, and Gibbons. But it looks like it will be a little too late for Rakimbayev to make a move, as there'll be never air time for Leo. Santini has the outside line, the preferred line into turn 4 and into turn 5. Santini will be looking to defend this position quite well.
Yeah, breaking into turn 4, so like you said, the outside line, more better traction, and sticks to move.
And actually, Alex Bowen is I think closing up just a little bit to Rakimbayev. We're hearing the fact that Alex Bowen is actually catching up to Rakimbayev. Rakimbayev is currently on much older tires than everyone who has pitted. So Alex Bowen is going to try her absolute best to catch up to Rakimbayev. Second place, it looks to be quite realistic for her.
And may be able to catch up, but I think it just may be a bit too late to make the pass. But as Bowen mentioned, Bowen coming with the fastest lap of a 2:03.5, so decent last few laps at this point.
Meanwhile, Kaczynski and Snooks are trying to go for a battle for form in their best ever finishing results in Holo GT3 as we're about to complete lap 17 with 2 laps to go. Let's talk about this car, number 18, Nakiri Ayame Lexus. Now, Nakiri Ayame has had some problems with insecurity with herself. Now, obviously, we will all believe that Nakiri Ayame is a valuable asset in Hololive, and we, from the bottom of our hearts, would love to have her stay in Hololive for the foreseeable future. And as of right now, Callum Gibbons is showing off what the Nakiri Ayame ride is worth. Sean Pauli has made the pass on Alex Red, by the way. And so yeah, Callum Gibbons is going to showcase what the Oni car could do. And speaking of what IMA has done, is actually a bit subjective. We talked about how IMA at one time was lost her way to her checkpoint in Minecraft, which then led to the Dochi song. You can go listen to that. It's actually very cute and all that stuff. Nakiri Ayame herself, being this cutesy, has this cutesy personality. We also recommend to watch Nakiri Ayame's channel and her videos if you are interested. But whatever the case is, Alex Bowen is catching up to Rakimbayev. The gap is now 3.4 seconds. And as for Nakiri Ayame, she has a song already on her resume, and of course. With her songs and all that stuff, she is a very good singer in our eyes. Meanwhile, Santini and Kizara Leo are still battling side by side into turn 9. So yeah, we'd like to see Nakiri Ayame continue her career in the whole life for the foreseeable future. Meanwhile, Santini and Kizara Leo is probably not going to catch Shaqif Reza anytime soon, which would also mean that Shaqif Reza will be 4 points behind Gabriel Ariadne, with the championship order split B heating up. Meanwhile, Snooks and Kaczynski holding on to 4th and 5th. Alex Bowen trying to catch up to Rakimbayev trying to catch up to Gibbons, but it will be a little bit too late for them as we're about to start the final lap of the race. Callum Gibbons representing Nakiri Ayame in the lead.
Still making that no-stop strategy work. May not have had the outright race pace in terms of the car itself, but definitely had that good strategy for and making use of the fuel rig they are currently allowed to use. Obviously, this loophole with their fuel lines may be closed up for the next round, but they'll make use of it while they can.
And make use of it. They indeed. Callum Gibbons holding off the 6-second gap right now. Alex Bowen's trying to catch up, and right now Ariadne is fighting for that fighting to get out of that silver spoon. Trying to get out of last place, and that he did. Ariadne is now 13th, but with the current order right now, Ariadne will be losing 21 points to Mohamed Shaqif Reza in the Split B Championship. Mohamed Shaqif Reza will be gunning for that 21 points currently on offer in 6th place. So Shaqif Reza will be only 4 points behind. Andrew Rakimbayev come the end of the points, come the end of this race. And as of right now, we'll be taking a look into the remaining order. Once Harto finishes in the points for the second consecutive race in his debut. Momo Zohair is still holding on to 9th. Very good job. Another points finish for Santini as well. Kizara Leo bouncing back to finish 7th. Shaqif Reza is trying his best to edge closer into the championship lead to Gabriel Ariadne. But Kaczynski and Thomas Nukes lining up for their best ever finish in Holo GT3 up to this point. Alex Bowen also lining up for her best ever race finish in Holo GT3 in her final race in the Minato Aqua Nissan. Andrew Rakimbayev. What a performance from Rakimbayev. Looks like Rakimbayev is going to be a challenger in the top 5 of the championship after this round. Callum Gibbons, though, exiting turn 14, has done wonders with this pit strategy, with this loophole, with the fuel lines and all that stuff. into turn 15 for the final time. Callum Gibbons. This will be a yo-da-yo moment for Callum Gibbons, for all the boyos out there, and for Nakiri Ayame. Callum Gibbons scores the win here in Sepang. Rakim Bayev pulls off a stellar performance in his debut to finish second. Alex Bowen, what can I say? She has done what she needed to do in this race in the Sepang. She now bounces back up to third. Thomas Snooze and Rajiv Kaczynski round up their best ever finishing position of 4th and 5th. Shaqif Reza is going to be only 4 points behind Gabriel Ariadne in 6th, as he just barely manages to edge ahead of Leo for 6th place. Santini and Mohamed Zohair in 8th and 9th. Suharto got the run for him in the points as well. What can I say for these drivers? They've all done a good job.
Yeah, all done a good job indeed. Getting a little bit cruisy at the top three despite the best efforts of Bowen to catch up, but definitely good scrabble in the midfield.
Good scrabble in the midfield indeed. It's a Lexus win for Callum Gibbons, who is the one who actually manages to basically prevent the Honda sweep here in Sepang. And obviously Split B has no home race winners, while in Split A we have one Ishihara Chazan Riza and Kisuhara Leo. But what can I say about Callum Gibbons? This is the car that won the race. Gibbo, what are your thoughts?
I have to look into the stats of this as well, but I think it might be the only as a driver to win races in both Split A and Split B, because he did take out the first race at Fuji in round 1 and now this race as well. So as a driver, not necessarily the car, but as a driver, possibly the I think the first winner in both splits.
First winner in both splits indeed. We've done the math. Ariadne exclusively wins in Split B. Aza exclusively wins in Split B, and then we also talk about Shaqif Reza, who is an exclusive winner in Split B as well. And then we also want to talk about Aza, Shaqif Reza, Ariadne are exclusive winners in Split A. Shaqif Reza is exclusive winner in Split A. Leo is an exclusive winner in Split A, and then there's you, and then there's you, winner in both splits. Congratulations to Callum Gibbons for winning this race. And we're going to be getting over into the race results, which is actually one of the most interesting results that we have seen so far. Callum Gibbons takes the win. 40 minutes of racing, and Rakim Bayev pulls off for first and second, grabbing 175 points. Alex Bowen in her final race in the Minato Aqua Nissan finishes third. Thomas Nooks and Rajiv Kaczynski having their best ever finishes in their Lexus car. Shaqif Reza finishes sixth, which will mean he is now 4 points behind Ariadne in the Split A Championship. Kisuhara Leo in the number 40 Honda in seventh. First points finish in Sepang after the first race with a penalty. Santini in 8th place, Mohamed Zohair in 9th, Bowen Sarda with a consistent points run in 10th, Sean Pauly in 11th, Gabriel Ariadne in 12th. This will be a tight championship to look out for in Burram. Alex Grant 13th, Albiazar 14th, and Matias Juan de Porto, after a stellar defense run in both races, just got tagged by Sean Pauly, in which Sean Pauly will have a 15-second penalty. We will be updating it on Adak-RMS Twitter. So yeah, that's the race order for all the 4 races on both splits here in Sepang. And now let's move on into the replay. We're going to be taking a look into the Porto's race. Here is the onboard for we're going to be taking a look into the onboard for Tom Pauly. Here is the onboard of the number 5 Nekomata Okayu Nissan. You see he's battling with Mohamed Zohair, trying to get the defense ready. Looking at the 100-meter board, late diving to the inside. It was fine here, but then tag, and then a slam into the rear end into the Porto. That effectively ends his race. Let's look at this again. This time on board with the number 5, number 3 Nekomata Okayu. Sorry, number 3 Tsunamaki Watanabe Lexus. Here's the Porto on the back. This is the rear view on the number 3 Tsunamaki Watanabe Lexus. Tom Paul tries to make a move down the inside. Oh, that was cheeky. Not just one, but oh, this one's heavy. That one's a heavy hit. That explains the rear and suspension damage. So it's going to be a 15-second penalty for for what you call Sean Pauli, and that will mean Sean Pauli will finish 14th, and drivers from 12 on back to 14th will move up a spot in the race results, but this will mean nothing as they will not be scored any points as they are finished outside the top 10. Meanwhile, we're going to be quick to skim over into the championship standings. We'll be transitioning over into the championship order. Now, of course, this is provisional. This is before Kizuhara Leo's penalty. So, but as of right now, Gabriel Ariadne, 276 points. While Shaqif Reza's 252 points. Actually, I stand corrected. Shaqif Reza did not win. I didn't win actually that one round. But yeah, Andrew Rakimbayev climbs out from 10th place to 3rd. Good job from him. Kyle Gibbons is in 4th with 203 points. Momo Zuhair has 180 points. And then Alex Grant with 6. But now drops down to the bottom, to the top 10, outside the top 5 in 6th. Sean Pauli in the number 5. Nekomata Okayu Nissan. Momo Suharto's in the number 20. Shanoi Flair Nissan. Rebounds to score more points. Abe Azad drops down to 9th place after basically no points for him either. Kizara Leo does his best to climb himself back into the top 10 as well. Matej Yuan Porto now drops down to the bottom 5. Raja Kaczynski stays in the bottom 5. Alex Bowen is no longer the last driver in 50s. Now jumps up to 13. Thomas Snooks hangs on to 14th. And Santini rounds out the championship order. So, Gibbo, we're going to be talking about the next round in Buriram. Can you share your thoughts about Buriram?
Yes, Bowen has a bit of a history with, I think it's held Super GT and I believe GT World Challenge Asia as well. So definitely a staple in the GT calendar, so should suit these GT3 cars well.
To shoot these GT3 cars well. Fast corners, slow corners, long straights. It's got everything the cars need for a quick battle for all of these drivers. So that concludes the Sepang round for both splits in Holo GT3. So we would like to thank everyone from the bottom of our hearts for being able to stay with us throughout the entirety of the stream. And of course, we apologize for all the mishaps, the shortcomings that we have encountered from the stream to basically everything else. So obviously, from the bottom of our hearts, we thank you for your commitments for the Hololive GT3 Japan series. We'll try our best to fix our mistakes, and we'll come back stronger for Buriram. So, because watch out for the championship. Watch out for the championship battle for both splits. This will get interesting as we have 7 rounds to go throughout the 2022 calendar. So stick with us because we will try our best to learn from our mistakes and try to deliver once again. This is Muhammad Shaqif Reza, and you're watching the Hololive GT3 Japan series. Watch out for the Buriram round on May 28th and 29th to close out the month of May.
Yeah, all good. By the way, seeing as it's May 28th, 29th, that weekend, basically, I think I'm pretty much not available because it's the end of the uni semester and basically everything ends up being due at once. So I'm going to be busy with study. Alright, cheers, man. Cheers, bye.